It was one of those freezing December nights when even the city lights seemed to shiver. The snow kept falling, soft and silent, covering the streets of Toronto in white stillness. Daniel sat by the window of a small cafe, his hands wrapped around a cup of coffee that had long gone cold. He checked his watch again, 9:47 p.m. She was supposed to be here at 7. His first blind date in 3 years. He laughed softly to himself, not because anything was funny, but because sometimes laughter was easier than admitting you'd been stood up. He looked out at the snow again, the flakes blurring the world into a soft haze. The truth was, Daniel hadn't gone on a date since his wife passed away. Friends had encouraged him for months to try again, to move on, as they put it. But moving on felt impossible, until tonight. Something about this date had made him hopeful again, a feeling he hadn't allowed himself to feel in a long time. And now, here he was, sitting in a half-empty cafe, waiting for a woman who might never come. Just as he stood to leave, he saw a movement outside, a figure huddled by the corner bench near the streetlight. The snow glistened around her, but she didn't seem to care. Her coat was thin, her hair damp from the falling flakes. She held something close to her chest. Out of instinct more than thought, Daniel walked outside. "Hey, are you all right?" he asked, his voice gentle but worried. The woman looked up, startled. She had tired eyes, the kind that had seen too much for her age. In her arms was a small child wrapped in a faded pink blanket. The little one's cheeks were red from the cold. "I'm sorry," she said quietly. "I didn't mean to bother anyone. I was just waiting for the bus. It's late, and my phone died." Daniel glanced around. The bus stop sign was half buried in snow, and the streets were nearly empty. The wind was sharp, cutting through his coat. "The bus is probably stopped by now," he said softly. "You'll freeze out here." The woman looked down at her child, hesitating. "We'll be fine. I just needed a place to rest for a bit." Something about her voice tugged at him, a mixture of pride and pain. "Please," Daniel said, "come inside. The cafe's still open, just for a few minutes, to warm up." She hesitated again but finally nodded. Inside, Daniel asked the barista for 2 hot chocolates and a sandwich. The woman sat across from him, holding the cup with trembling hands. Her name was Lily, and her daughter was Emma. She explained that she'd lost her job 2 months ago and had been trying to make ends meet by cleaning offices at night. The blind date she had agreed to tonight was her one desperate attempt to meet someone kind, someone who might help her start over. Daniel froze. "Wait, you had a date tonight?" She nodded. "Yeah, some guy from an app. We were supposed to meet here at 7. Daniel's heart skipped. "Lily, I think that guy was me." Her eyes widened. She looked at him closely, as if seeing him for the first time. The realization washed over both of them like a quiet shock. She laughed softly, embarrassed. "You're kidding. I wish I were," he said, smiling for the first time that night. "I was here the whole time." "I'm so sorry," she whispered. "I got caught at the bus stop. Emma was freezing, and I didn't want to walk in this weather." "I thought you must have left." Daniel shook his head. "No, I thought you didn't show up." There was a pause, the kind that felt heavy but somehow comforting. He looked at her, really looked, and saw more than a woman struggling to survive. He saw strength. He saw warmth in her exhaustion, courage in her silence. They talked for hours, long after the cafe closed. She told him about losing her husband in an accident 2 years ago, about the nights she went without eating so Emma could have dinner. Daniel listened quietly, his chest tightening with a mix of empathy and admiration. He told her about his wife, about the loneliness that had settled into his bones after she was gone. By the time the cafe owner gently asked them to leave, the storm had slowed. Daniel offered to drive them home. When they reached her small basement apartment, he helped carry Emma inside, careful not to wake her. As Lily turned to thank him, Daniel hesitated, then said, "Would it be all right if I saw you both again sometime?" Lily smiled softly, her eyes glistening. "I'd like that." Weeks passed, and Daniel found himself visiting often, sometimes with groceries, sometimes with toys for Emma, but mostly just to sit and talk. Lily's laughter began to return, a sound that warmed even the coldest days. And Daniel felt something inside him begin to heal too. One night, as snow fell outside again, Daniel watched Lily and Emma decorating a small Christmas tree. The child giggled as she placed a crooked star on top. Lily caught Daniel's gaze, and for a moment, everything felt right. He realized that love doesn't always arrive the way you expect. Sometimes it shows up shivering in the snow, holding a child, carrying more strength than sorrow. And sometimes, all it takes is one act of kindness on a cold winter night to change two lives forever. As he stood by the window, watching the snow fall again, Daniel whispered quietly to himself, "I waited all night for my blind date, but I think I found something far more beautiful."